Hey, like Travis, this is a quick video to show you how to put a Peardeck link into your Schoology course. There are a couple of different ways you can do this. So the first way we're going to look at is using the add-on inside Schoology. So you'll go first to the weekly folder and the daily folder that you'll want students to access this material. Go up to Add Materials and add File, Link, or External Tool. And choose the third option, External Tool. Once the pop-up comes up, you'll scroll down that first box to find Peardeck. And you can enable grading, set a due date, choose a grading category and your grading period, and click Submit. Make sure you give it a title. Once you've done that, you'll need to click into that link, and it's going to ask you to select a file from your drive. Once you click Select File, it's going to open up a place where you can search your drive. You can search your Google Drive or your shared drives. I actually need to search in my shared drives. Here's the slide deck that I want my students to go through using the Peardeck pieces that I've already created inside that slide deck. Here, I get to choose if the students are doing this asynchronously with a student-paced activity or synchronously with an instructor-paced activity. We will take a look at both to see what that looks like on the student side. I'm going to start by using the asynchronous option, student-paced activity. Once you choose that, what you see on your side is the teacher dashboard. So at this point, you would be able to go through this slide deck. And as you can see, it's waiting for responses. If students were actually using this slide deck, I would be able to see the student responses right here inside Schoology instead of having to go to the Peardeck dashboard. So I'm in a student account. I'm going to go to week 2, Wednesday. And another feature is that this opens the slide deck inside Schoology for the students. So they don't have to go to another tab. And they're going to be able to go through this slide deck at their own pace. They'll be able to answer any questions directly in here. All right, and if I move on, now I'm in the student section. Remember, they can play the videos in here. They can pause those videos and move through the slide deck asynchronously. On the teacher side, I can see that the student response is already populated right here inside my Schoology page. Again, the advantage of using the external tool is that you don't have to open another tab, and neither do the students in order to see their Peardeck. So that is a view of an asynchronous slide deck. Let's take a look at what it would look like if we put in a link and turn on the teacher paste or instructor paste mode. So I'm going to go through that same process, external tool, choose Peardeck, give it a title. And just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to notate that it's synchronous. I'm going to go ahead and enable grading. Choose a category and a grading period and submit. Again, I need to go into that link still on my teacher side and select my file. You can look in your personal drive or shared drives. Search for the name of the slide deck that you want your students to work in and choose which mode. So this time I'm going to do instructor paced activity. So now the dashboard is up and it's ready. It's telling me that I'm presenting. So let's go back and look at the student account. This is the link for the synchronous instructor paced mode deck. So when I click into here, it's going to look a little different. After this first slide, you'll notice I don't have any arrows. So because it is in instructor paste mode, I'm not able as a student to click forward. I have to wait until the teacher, if I go back to the teacher's side of things, the teacher can move through these slides. And so as a teacher, I'm in my teacher account, I've moved to slide 6. And when I flip over to the student view, I see that they are automatically placed on slide 6. So those are the differences of asynchronous and synchronous, or as Peardeck calls it, student paced or instructor paced modes. So that's the first way to import your Peardeck into Schoology, is using that external tool. And that is the way I would recommend. If you are having trouble with that, another way to import is just by using the link option here. If you use this link option, you are actually going to need to open up your slide deck from your Google Drive. Once you're in the slide deck, and again, all of the Peardeck pieces have already been put into this slide deck ahead of time, you'll go to Add-ons, Peardeck for Google Slide Add-ons, and you'll pop up with a menu on the right. You'll click Start Lesson. And then again, it's going to ask you to choose your lesson mode. So student paced is when the students are working on something asynchronously on their own time. Instructor paced means that they are working through something with you, most likely during a synchronous live time. So I'm going to choose student paced for this one. It opens the Peardeck into a new tab, and it takes me to my teacher dashboard. But the first thing it does is pop up and say, copy the link below and send it to your students. So I'm going to copy that link. It tells me it's copied. I take that link back into Schoology and I paste it right there. And the title is whatever the lesson is. And in this case, you can display the Peardecks in Schoology, or if you unclick that newspaper icon, it will open a new tab. So let's just take a look. I can tell as a student and a teacher that it's different because I have this link icon versus the external tool icon. So back in the student account, I'm going to click on this version, and it's asking me to log in. Notice it did not ask me to log in when I used the external tool function. So that's another benefit of the external tool function. If I do log in, it'll give me a pop-up window to use my login. And once I log in, then I'll be able to access the slide deck and move through it asynchronously, all inside Schoology. Another difference between going through the slide deck as a link versus using the external tool is at the end, it just ends and the student can get out of it. If you're using the external tool, then as the student goes through the deck, at the very end, there's a submit work button. And that lets the teacher know that you've finished that slide deck. So if I go back in and on the teacher side, I look at that remote learning best practices, let's take a look in the grade book. I'm going to sort my grade book by first 9 weeks. I can see this remote learning Peardeck that I just put in, that the student pressed submit on, has already created a participation grade for me. So 2 different ways to do it. You can decide what's easiest for you. However, there are many benefits to using the external tool option.